What's up, guys? We are back with another Super 7 Ultimates TMNT Wave 6 review, taking a look at the turtle, well, the good turtle in this wave, I should say. The good turtle in this wave. We're taking a look at another variant turtle. This is SEWER, SURFER, Mikey. So, of course, one of those original variant turtles that kind of makes up that core group. So we had Samurai Leo in Wave 5, we've got Surfer Mikey in Wave 6, and I'm really excited about this one. So we've got him here in our standard packaging. He gets the ooze green slipcover. You've got the Mikey manhole cover on the front, Turtles logo on the back. Pop that slipcover off, and we have a ton of accessories and our figure there in that big window. And we've got our very familiar green brick motif with all that graffiti all over it. And then the back gives us our bio for our Wet and Wild Mikey. So let's do it. Let's pull this guy out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, our SEWER Surfer Mikey. So we're back to variants, which was, a huge thing in the vintage line. It's just as important as the regular turtles, as far as I'm concerned, to people to get at least the original variants, because they were such a hallmark of the line. We have super gross out figures, then we have these like really weird variants, some that have, like Mikey here, this crazy late 80s, early 90s color palette, which I am very much here for. Like, I don't know, maybe I didn't realize it at the time, but I love this super neon crazy nonsense. So let's see what this guy can do, see how he moves around. He's still very much turtle, but he's got more stuff on him. So some articulation is a little bit different, but not really. So we got a head that can look up. He can look down a little bit, not too much. You've got tilt side to side, full rotation, of course. Arms out at the shoulders, and then you can also rotate as well, all the way around, of course. We've got our bicep swivel. We've got our single jointed, slightly shimmying elbow here, depending on how you move it. And then you've got vertical hinges on him in the box with rotation. Now he's a turtle, so of course that compromises his torso articulation, but the hips do move a little bit better than I expected. Like they shimmy in that shell quite well. And then of course you've got sort of rock side to side. Now I will note, he is not really loose. I don't have any issues there. He seems to be, at least as far as all the turtles I've gotten so far, he seems to be the most tight when it comes to joint work. Everything seems to feel pretty firm and how you would expect and want it to feel. Legs go out. They go at different levels because of what he's got. So he's got this big eel on his left leg, your right, and he can only go up that far as a result, but his left, or his right, your left, I keep getting that backwards, goes all the way out. They kick forward, both of them kick forward all the way. They do kick backwards slightly. You've got your thigh twist up there just to shimmy that cut a little bit. We've got our single jointed rotating knees. They're not 90 degrees, they're 75 maybe. And then down at these ankles, you've got some super rocker action. And we've got really good hinges. Now, he's got a super long foot, so that's going to compromise some of the movement potential there, just because, you've got to account for that. But he still moves really well. Like, I don't have any real issues with him. If anything, the only difference with him is that he can't really move his left leg out as far as you would want it to. And that's just because he's got extra stuff on here. It gets in the way. Otherwise, though, everything else is pretty normal. And again, like I said, he is moving really well. Everything is very much as tight as you would want it to be without having to, get out a hairdryer. Of course, all that said, when it comes down to this kind of figure, for me, it's all about the looks, because that's what this guy's about. He's about selling the idea that they're not out fighting the Foot Clan. Mikey is just surfing. He's having a good weekend, whatever he's doing, and he, of course, has to get 100% dressed up to play the part. And he ends up with all of this gunk and little creatures all over him too, and there's a lot of weird stuff on this figure. So of course, the big thing that stands out with this guy is the fact that he's got a weird color palette. He's got this like hot pink and the bright blue and the super saturated like highlighter yellow, and I really like it. Like, ultimately, that's what it kind of comes down to with this. I love this color palette. He is going to pop on the shelf, and I think the colors, along with this sculpt and all the little details that are now fully painted and fully obvious, really work. So he's got a pink shell, so the shell is actually pink, and then you've got the blue and the yellow that's painted on it, and it's actually in like a scuba suit. So there's a zipper on the back, you've got some shells and like seaweed all over him. He's got spots for his nunchucks here. You've got these little canisters. He's got whatever this is supposed to be. I don't know what that's supposed to be. He's got like a dolphin belt buckle there. We've got official turtle brand tampoed on the chest, which looks really good. Very clean, very crisp, no issues with that. Of course, you know, the surfboard on him. You've got the sleeves painted on the arms, so this is all paintwork. The watch is painted now. You've got all of these like little barnacles all over the front, which are all individually sculpted and painted. But what really stands out for this figure in particular, aside from, you know, this focal point of the shell, is all the stuff that's on him. So he's got, you know, he's got a shark that's coming out of his elbow pad. He's got a shark that's sitting on his shoulder. And I mean, as ridiculous as that is, it looks really cool, and it certainly works in the confines of a figure, right? He's got some crabs running up his leg. He's got a crab on his arm. He's got an octopus down here on one of the flippers, and these are, of course, fully painted too. So they've got the blue and the yellow, and then the octopus is painted like a gray with some red eyes. And even the little suckers are painted. They're painted blue on his foot. But there's a lot of little things to just sort of catch on this figure. Even the seaweed is painted and washed, so it's dark green with a light green wash in it to bring all that detail out. And he's just a cool looking figure. I mean, it's weird, it's goofy, it's the epitome of what Turtles has always been. It's just wacky nonsense when it comes to the action figure side of things. But it really works. I mean, I've always been a big fan of the variant Turtles. I've always been a big fan of dressing a turtle up into whatever they decided to do, because somehow it just worked. And this is one of those like key variant Turtles, and I think Super 7 really knocked it out of the park, not only with the sculpt, but with all of the paintwork, because all of these little bits and bobs and all the little critters that are crawling all over them are all painted really clean, very nicely done, tons of detail work, and really no paint flubs or issues to speak of. And then we've got this head sculpt, and this one comes packaged with Super 7's interpretation on the character, on the figure, already in the box. So the normal figure has, well, the vintage figure has him like with a big toothy smile, and we do get that head sculpt. But this one, they've gone a little bit more, and we've gone full on, tongue sticking out, mouth fully open, and I really like this head sculpt. It's very expressive, very emotive, and it's very Mikey too, which of course helps. So you've got all of those teeth and the gums fully painted, you've got his mouth painted, the tongue sticking out. And it just looks really good. I'm happy with that. And again, it works for Mikey. So in the situation where they're giving us these extra head sculpts just to kind of, you know, play with the character a little bit more, I do really like this one. And I think the color, the green on the skin looks good. And of course, the orange for the bandana also looks really nice as well. So I'm really happy with the head sculpt. I mean, it complements the idea of this one because he's clearly out there goofing around and having a fun time. So of course, he needs this crazy, wacky head sculpt to go along with it. Now, as far as accessories goes, Mikey has a pretty solid spread. He's got a pretty high piece count for sure. Kind of up there with Sewer Samurai Leo, but maybe not as many. The vintage figure didn't have a ton of stuff, but it was all very themed to this version of Mikey. So to start with, we do get an extra head sculpt. And I say extra because this is the one that's in the tray. It's not on him in the box, but this is what the vintage head looked like. So you've got him with a very similar kind of head. It's just that the mouth isn't fully open. He's just got a big toothy smile instead of having a fully open mouth. Now, the vintage figure also had sunglasses on it. What they did here, though, is that they gave us a pair of sunglasses. And you got to kind of watch these because, well, he doesn't have ears, obviously, so they don't exactly have a place to go. So you got to kind of find that sweet spot to make them sit right on him. And you'll get him to, you know, to have these glasses on. And you can kind of have him mimicking that vintage look. And they do fit also on this head. And I should also mention that the heads from the regular Mikey figure will also swap in and out with this guy also. So if you want to use that vintage head or something on this guy, you can do that. We also get some extra hands. So we get vertical gripping on him in the box. You get a set of fists. You get a set of style pose hands. And you get a set of laterally hinged gripping hands also. So you get a total of 8. We've got his turtle wax little pucks, basically. So there's 3 of these, red, yellow, and blue, and then of course they've got different accent colors on them also. Maybe beware, they're super small, so probably already lost by the time you watch this. We get the really weird, like, water wheel accessory thing. These were supposed to connect to the surfboard somehow. I don't really remember what they did. I don't know that they actually are going to do that on this release. I don't see a way that they truly can. But you got 2 of these. Also, we get his nunchucks, and this time around they're just done up in like a really gummy, sort of rubbery plastic, but they're covered in detail. So they've got like seaweed all over them. This one's got a starfish wrapped around one end, and then you've got silver metallic for the actual chain. So in lieu of, various types like we get with the first figure. We just get this set that has all of the super detail all over it. And then we get his little crab, and I'm hesitant to call this a buddy because it's not exactly on the same level, you know, as like Jailbird with Scratch. But he does get a little guy, so he gets this little crab that comes with him. This came with him in the vintage figure too. This is just painted red. Another kind of, you know, callback to the simplistic paint apps for the vintage line. And then we get the Surfboard, which I mean is definitely his most impressive accessory. It's orange. And it's done up with this is a sticker. So this is a sticker, and it has the really weird cowabunga with a K pronunciation and spelling on it. And then you've got all of this sort of like wacky late 80s, early 90s style graphics. You got 2 pegs for his feet to go on, and then you've also got a sort of bungee cord for the little, I don't know what you call the cord that you attach to your ankle, but you got this rubbery piece here also that you pop around his ankle to keep it strapped to him at any time. And this is really nice. Like, I really like this surfboard. It's not as big as like the Optimus Prime surfboard, so if you want to have them both surfing, this is definitely more sized right to Mikey. It's just a tad taller than he is, but it's really robust, it's really big, and of course, the graphic on it is great, and it's a very good recreation of that original vintage surfboard, so that's really cool. And then we're going to get another weapon rack, and I'm not really sure what the actual, you know, frame of this is. It kind of looks like some sort of like trawling line almost, but this also looks like the strap that goes around the surfboard. But you've got all this like little seaweed gunk all over it. You've got the turtle wax pucks, you've got the nunchucks, you've got the water wheels, you got the crab, but in orange this time. So if you want to cut them out, you have 2 in different colors. So, you know, we get another vintage callback when it comes to, you know, the whole weapon sprue rack thing for Turtles. So he does have a lot of stuff here. It's all pretty good. Like, I really don't have any complaints about any of it. I love the fact that we still got the crab, as, you know, stupid as that kind of is. And I like the fact that we do have the sunglasses. They are a little bit cumbersome because, you know, no ears on the turtle. But once you get them posed right, it'll sit just fine. I've not really had any issues with it. And you can't go wrong with a big, wacky surfboard. So yeah, overall, really happy with this figure. You know, again, going into this one, I've already said I like the turtle variants. You know, Sewer Samurai Leo is one of my favorite figures in the entire line. So I like the variant stuff. I like putting turtles in different costumes, and Sewer Surfer Mike is no exception. The colors are crazy and wacky and goofy, and I'm very much here for it. I like this kind of stuff, and Super7 did a really nice job, you know, translating that figure into a more modern version with more articulation and a lot more paint on it to showcase some of the weird stuff that's crawling all over him, all the seaweed, all the muck, and then all those little critters and crabs and sharks and octopus and all that stuff. He comes with a lot of great accessories. Love the surfboard. Looks fantastic. It looks just like the original. And then he comes with some weird, goofy accessories. The sunglasses are still kind of wonky to use just because he has no ears, but you'll get it just fine. I haven't really had any issues with it. It's just something to point out. So that's going to do it for this look at the Super7 Ultimates TMNT Wave 6 Sewer Surfer Mike. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.